AI vocals and murder mysteries, and seemingly senile politicians.
On this episode of Simply Necessary Conversations.
Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Is AI getting a little too advanced? An AI-generated Drake and The Weeknd song was submitted for Grammy consideration, and I think that's kind of crazy because how?
Well, first of all, some people don't even know what AI is, and it's being talked about.
Who doesn't know what AI is?
Some people still don't, and it's being talked about so much, and it's becoming such a big deal. AI as in artificial intelligence, I believe.
Yes.
Even that is like
artificial intelligence.
So, like when you have automated assistance with things. For example, a lot of people don't know it, but in Lakeland on South Florida Avenue, there's a Checkers where when you go to place your order.
I think that's a lot of Checkers now because there's one in Tampa.
Okay, because when you go to Checkers now, they have almost like a robot taking your order. It's not a person. And you would be amazed at how well it responds.
You said a robot. It's not a person.
Well, robot, what do you call it then? What is it?
A robot? What do you mean? You didn't have to say not a person because if you say it's a robot,
well,
it's
I'm
not
just
a person.
saying it's not a human being.
Like you're saying it like it's a Westworld type of thing where it looks like a person, but it's a robot.
well, it's not quite Westworld, but it is creepy because the first time I went, it kind of took me off guard. And then I realized it's like, okay, so they got an automated thing. You can place an order with it, and once you place the order, and I thought that I would have to be very specific and mechanical in my delivery, you don't. And it will even respond to like specific requests. Like if you say, I'd like water with no ice, like it actually can understand and respond to that, which is quite creepy. So AI is becoming a thing. What is it?
Chat GPT.
Chat GPT is replacing a lot of people that do things that are creative because Chat GPT can be fed information and create articles and do all kinds of things that they used to need.
It's very helpful for them students because I definitely.
It is helpful for students, except I think professors are trying to make sure that they have ways to get so that students can't get around actually doing their own work. But the big concern is when AI gets to the point that it actually can mimic people and people don't know that they're interacting with AI.
What I think of as soon as I think of AI, because I'm a Marvel nerd, is we finna be in the age of Ultron. Like, where's Jarvis right now? Because that's like, it reminds me of like Iron Man having all that special technology and then it goes crazy and then it tries to destroy the world because humans are no longer like morally righteous enough to survive. Like that's what it reminds me of.
But they've been predicting this for decades, literally decades. Like it's been, there's always been this concern that what happens when the machines take over. And in a way, right now it's not. Well, I was going to say it's not scary, but it kind of is because you can be talking. This is why when people see me on my phone at home. Very few people see me on my phone at home because I don't have people in my house. But anyway, if you ever see me answer a call from a number that's not familiar to me, I never say hello because most of the AI is programmed that once you say hello, it starts talking to you. And sometimes you don't know that that's what it is. I have learned to trick the system because I always say, may I help you? Because it did not recognize that.
I mean, eventually it's going to recognize that too.
Eventually it will, but right now, if I say, may I help you, and I don't get a response, then I know you are AI, goodbye. That's what happens.
Oh, my God.
I do not go any further than that because hello is always going to be a prompt, and then, whatever artificial intelligence they're using starts their spiel or whatever, because a lot of it is so good that you cannot tell.
And the AI, I mean, I keep relating this to TV, but like I feel like TV is like predicting what will actually happen in the real world. I feel like it's going to be like, I don't think you watched Black Mirror, but Black Mirror is like this popular Netflix show that shows like what happens if like or not even the country, the world becomes like this dystopian, highly tech savvy society where like all of these new technologies are able to like predict crime or like change the future or whatever. And one of them with Miley Cyrus was about like AI or like a robot being used to create music using her voice. And this is like the Drake and Weeknd song. This is literally that. Like, it's literally Black Mirror because now you're having someone submit an AI generated song of the like. Okay, so I learned how to code, and now all of a sudden I'm Mozart. Like that's kind of crazy. That takes the creativity out of things.
It's very unfair. The AI with the AI creating new material, as well as when they started with the hologram things.
Oh, the hologram thing.
So I know for years, once a famous musician passed away, their family and their estate could continue to make money off their success. But then when and that was bad enough using the music and selling the rights to the music or whatever.
Or like
but
releasing new songs like Michael Jackson.
Like
released music.
Songs that had not previously been released. That was one thing. But when you start doing the whole hologram thing, so now we can still go to a concert with people that have passed away. I think, first of all, I think it's disrespectful to the artists. Like, let people R.I.P. Just let them rest, okay? Like, let them rest in peace. But then also, where does it end is the question. Like, where does it end? Where is the line where, okay, we need to continue to have human interactions versus technology controlling what's happening with people and interacting with people? It also, to me, diminishes people's capacity to socialize. Like, kids don't know how to.
Sure.
And I realized this myself. Okay, I had to self-reflect. I realized I'm addicted to my phone. And
years,
that is so terrible because I talk so much trash to you and your cousins.
You and grandma. Both.
I realize it's like I am forever looking at this phone. I'm forever Googling something.
Sending me videos while I'm at work.
Saying, Imari, check this out. This is the one. Like, yeah, I am really trying to back away from that because I don't talk to people on the phone. The people that I do interact with is always on a social media platform. Like, it's like, no, this has got to stop. Like, it really has to stop.
That's why I appreciate a good phone call now. Like, there's certain friends of mine that will call me, and I'm just like, thank you.
Yeah.
Because we don't have, like, I don't want to sit back and forth constantly all day texting you back and forth, sending voice messages. Just call me, babes. Just call me.
I think
it
has a place. It has a time and it has a place, but we really have to get away from that. Now, and it's hard because one of the ways that I got sucked in, because for the longest I had a flip phone and embarrassed. Like, I know you.
Well, first of all, you still got an Android. That's a whole problem in of itself.
Baby steps. I got rid of the flip phone.
When the iPhone comes out in like T minus however many days, you're getting one because I'm tired of the
Put
Android.
that on my Christmas list with my iPods or my earbuds.
You don't even know the word.
I don't even know.
Oh my God.
But yeah, put that on my Christmas list. With the other stuff.
You realize it's like thousands of dollars, right? Because I have to get myself a new phone, and I also need AirPods.
You do realize that I can see your bank account. I know how much money you got.
Okay, but like I'm saving
for my Christmas gift. But anyway, so yeah, so I got sucked in during the pandemic, pandemic, whatever. You know what I'm talking about. I got sucked in because that was how we stayed in touch with each other as a family. Like, we started Facebooking and FaceTime and whatever. And that was what kind of, like, me, your grandma, people like us that were kind of resistant to the whole thing. It brought us together, which is ironic because it literally brought us together.
I mean, I would have literally lost my mind without my phone during COVID.
Yeah, we started talking to each other.
Because I made college friends online before I even stepped foot on campus.
All of that. And I don't know. Sometimes I'm a conspiracy theorist because everybody became completely dependent on social media and technology, Zooms and all that. Now that the pandemic is over, nobody's going back to face-to-face regular interactions the way that they were before.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a catch-22 in that now I think it's wonderful that my friends that are not in Florida or not local, that I can stay in touch with them, that in the middle of the day I can text my friend Brittany who is in Alabama and say, hey, Brittany, da-da-da-da-da. All of that is wonderful, but at the same time, it is scary that these kids are so disconnected and so used to human interaction in a way.
Because I think I'm the last generation that grew up without phones. Because I was born in 2002. So, like, we didn't have, like, Apple or whatever when I was a baby. But, like, I feel like when I got in, like, middle school, that's when, like, oh, I want a phone and I want an iPod and all whatever. Because I was a Nintendo Wii kid. Like, I did not care about social media when I was a child, obviously. I feel like now, like, seeing my younger cousins, every time I see them, they have a phone. I'm like, where did you even get? Literally, they have, like, Sabrina bought her a phone.
Both of them have phones now. Yeah, well, both of them have phones now.
Macy don't have no phone. She has an iPod.
Well, she calls it her phone.
She calls it a phone, but that is an iPod that is broken, and I don't think it turns on.
I think it does because she was doing something on it the other day.
Are you sure she wasn't pretending?
No, I think it actually does.
Because when she handed it to me, and I was like, oh, like, Macy, this doesn't work. And she was like, it's just dead. And I was like, oh, my bad.
I don't know. I could be wrong. But even the baby, he knows how to pause and start. And it's scary to me. It's scary to me. When you were a child, crazy. All you knew was, well, maybe I let you watch too much TV, but it was always PBS educational. But when you were a child, if I was cooking, you were cooking. If I was cleaning, you were cleaning. Like, you did.
I had really weird aspirations to be a housewife at like 5 because of you.
You learn what you live. But anyway, but you were always interacting with me, and I was very good at making you think I was
In hindsight, I
very
realized
involved.
you did not care about half the stuff I was saying when I was 5.
But I didn't let you know that, did I? You
I had no
always thought
idea.
you had my full attention. These kids, on the other hand, their phones have their full attention, and that's scary to me.
Yeah, I guess.
That's scary to me. Like, I was constantly talking to you, doing stuff with you, reading to you, whatever. These kids do not have that. And while the technology has its place, it's getting to be too much. The AI, like, there's been times that I've been looking at something on a video and thinking it's an actual person talking, and then I look close enough and it's something about the eyes, and sometimes if you watch the mouth,
Yeah,
it's like, that's not even a real person. And for a few seconds, they had me thinking I was listening to.
I'm glad I did not grow up in this generation. Like, even though
What do you mean?
What do you mean?
You are growing up in this generation.
I'm grown. What are you talking about?
Well, whatever.
I'm not. When I say grow up, I don't mean like be 40. I mean like I'm not a child. Like, you acting like I'm 2.
Well, to me, you're always going to be a child.
That okay. But what I did like to do when I was a kid, that was like way beyond my years, and like I don't know why I was so obsessed with it. But this will be let me put y'all on, because I feel like a lot of people don't know. Murder mysteries. I'm a murder mystery type of girl. First of all, it has me very paranoid at this age, though, because I be thinking everybody's a serial killer.
Oh,
but
Lord.
like, everyone talks about like Criminal Minds and Law and Order, and all those are cool. I like those. But the British and Canadian murder mysteries,
Yeah.
8 down. I love them so much. Like, because the reason I thought about this the other day is because I was telling my friends that they have to go to the movie with me to watch the new Hercule Poirot movie, which a lot of people like know Death on the Nile and like the new versions of the film now for like American audiences. But if you didn't know, now you know that those are Agatha Christie mysteries. And they're like, I think she wrote several novels.
She wrote lots.
I forget the one lady, the older lady that was the
Miss Marple?
Miss Marple. Like, she wrote Miss Marple, Hercule Poirot, something else that I'm forgetting now.
I remember.
But like y'all got to get into the British murder mysteries.
Well, I think, first of all, I guess that's kind of my fault, because
you let me watch old movies, like the black and white movies, and that's how I started liking musicals.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I confess that I let you be a TV addict, because I was a TV addict, but it was very, very conscious TV. So it was PBS, and then as you got older, it switched to the Agatha Christie and the British mystery type stuff. Yeah. But I think the reason that you're into that is, number one, because we both like to try to problem solve. Like, we are both always trying to figure it out before it's over. But also because you like travel. And when you watch the British stuff, it makes you feel like I really do feel like I have been to
It transports you
England.
into that world. Like, if y'all like Bridgerton, because I love me some Bridgerton. Oh my gosh, I love Bridgerton mainly because of the.
I didn't do Bridgerton, but I did do Downton Abbey. I thought Downton Abbey was.
I'm not telling you as my mother to watch Bridgerton. No.
Well,
like,
I didn't.
The younger people, if you know what I'm saying, you know what I'm saying. Watch Bridgerton, and like the main guy characters, all my husbands, whatever. I'm going on a whole tangent about Bridgerton now. But if you like the period pieces and like the whole concept of like royalty and noble families and all of that, then you would like the British murder mysteries, because it's all about like the nobility and the communities of like these British places.
Nobility.
Yeah, that word.
Yeah.
And then even Downton Abbey. I forgot about Downton Abbey.
See, and I was late, which I'm glad that I joined late to the Downton Abbey
We still haven't
thing,
watched the new one.
because when we did finally watch it, we were able to binge watch. We didn't have to wait until, because I would have gone crazy. So we watched it all the way through. We watched the movies. I haven't watched the most recent
we haven't
one,
watched
I guess.
the most recent one.
But yeah, like, it was a whole vibe, and I didn't think that I would get into it, but I did.
But like Downton Abbey was like Downton Abbey walked so Bridgerton could run. Is my perspective.
Okay, all right then.
That's my perspective.
Not the civil rights analogy. Lord have mercy. I know you don't get it, but anyway.
No, I know what you're saying,
Okay.
but like, I mean, Bridgerton has a lot of diverse characters, so it's appropriate. But anyway,
yeah,
like it was like the precursor to like what we see today.
And you know what's cool too is when you watch some of the British mysteries and shows, you will see
the
actors,
same characters.
No, you'll see actors that are now popular in the United States.
Oh yeah.
That got their start over there. For instance, the guy Spencer from All American. I've seen him and people like him in a couple of shows, and it's like, oh my goodness, that's so and so. Yeah, like, so a lot of the British actors that have now become popular in the United States got their start on popular shows over in Europe. So it's cool, but the scenery is definitely, the cinematography is definitely part of the draw.
Like the cinematography of those shows. But if you want like a really, 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 really good mystery, before Benedict Cumberbatch was Doctor Strange, he was Sherlock on like the BBC Sherlock. And that was a good mystery. Like every episode, like, because they were longer form episodes. They were almost like movies each episode. And like the complexities and like the going into the mind palace and all of that, like that's so cool.
Honey, if nothing else, just the reference to having a mind palace. Like I love that.
A fun fact: Benedict Cumberbatch is Doctor Strange in Sherlock. Robert Downey Jr. was also a Sherlock, and he's Iron Man.
Okay.
There's somebody else, I think, that's like connected to those things that are also Marvel characters.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna go down that rabbit hole because I can talk about Marvel all day. But we were talking about like technology and how it's a little bit scary, and we kind of got off on a tangent about British murder mysteries. But going back to how technology is scary, I'm concerned about this election season and the deep fakes. But besides the deep fakes and all of that, the other big concern is almost kind of like not parallel, but it's like two extremes. It's like the new technology, innovation, how much we can do with that, how much it's going to influence politics in our daily lives. But some of the people that's running the country right now,
bless their hearts,
they're a tad, a teeny weeny bit old.
Okay, now first of all, this is not ageism. I have no problem with people.
I don't have no problem with
that are senior citizens based on their age, working, continuing to be productive citizens. That being said, when it's time to sit down, it's time to sit down. Okay,
seats.
So y'all saw that meme going around with Mitch McConnell doing the Beyonce, everybody on mute.
Everybody on mute. He was just.
It is sad. Now, I'm not a fan of Mitch McConnell, so like I don't feel seriously sorry for him in a certain kind of way, because I feel like he did a lot of damage to a lot of people with the decisions that he made. Some of the policies that he pushed and some of the stuff. But as a Christian person, my heart goes out to him because clearly he is not functioning at full capacity.
But okay.
And somebody has to say it, and then this whole party before people thing has got to stop, because and it goes both ways. We have Dianne Feinstein,
Nancy Pelosi.
There's a time for you to say, okay, I have done all I can do, and you need to sit down and let somebody else take the baton and run with it. When we have a senator, a high-ranking senator, completely checking out for moments at a time, minutes at a time, somebody having to prompt him, them having to usher him away from a microphone because he's not able to continue his thought. I lose track of my thoughts. I have senior moments, but I'm also not making decisions that determine
it just makes
what happens
me wonder
to the country.
If y'all are like tweaking, using a very Gen Z word, if y'all are tweaking, who is actually running the country?
Exactly.
Like, because somebody is actually doing the stuff that y'all are supposed to be doing. Who is? Because we didn't elect them.
Exactly. So we know somebody's doing their job for them. We didn't vote for them. We did not elect them. We don't know what their background nor their agenda is. So I got a problem with us being told, "Oh no, he's fine. He's fine." No, he ain't.
Because I'm just like, at what point? Like, you have so much power. Like, you have the money, you have the power, you have the fame. Retire.
And that to me,
give somebody else a chance. And I'm not even just saying that because it's Mitch McConnell or anybody else. Like, let people vote for new people. Like, give somebody else a chance.
Okay, now that brings up another topic in that, okay, so we need some of these people that are elderly who are not operating at full capacity to step down. So on the flip side, we need some younger people that are operating on full capacity to step up.
The young people are stepping up. So a lot of people aren't seeing it, but the young people are. I interviewed oh my gosh, Maxwell Frost. When I was an intern at my station that I work at, I interviewed Maxwell Frost when he was running, and he ended up winning. Mm-hmm. And people are stepping up. It's just
I don't mean people running, because we got some good people,
and there's people on the ground.
What I'm addressing is people that are still not voting, people that are still only voting in a presidential election, or people that are only voting.
That's more of to be honest, I think that's more of a your generation issue, because my generation votes. We care.
Your generation votes in a certain segment. There are still segments of your generation and even my generation that are saying nothing's going to change. Why should I vote? Because if you don't vote, we're going to continue to have people like Mitch McConnell in charge. And here's the thing. If you're almost 100 years old, I joke about being half of 100, but if you're almost 100 years old, you are not necessarily well, you're definitely not in the same place mentally as someone that's a lot younger that has to live in this world for many more years. Because, like, if you're, I mean, people aren't living to be 200. Let's just keep it real. So, younger people, it's to your benefit to be voting about policies and stuff because it's going to affect you. It's going to affect your kids. Like this whole, I'll use climate change because that's something that everybody should be on the same page about. Okay, so if you're older, if you're Mitch McConnell, you're Dianne Feinstein, if you're any of the people that are older, yeah, you care about that, but not quite as much because you're not going to be necessarily living with the effects of climate change as long as someone that is in their 20s or someone that has yet to be born.
Or someone that has seen an uptick in hurricanes causing them to have to work longer
This
hours.
Florida heat that is so unnatural because I've lived in Florida for all my years. It has never been hot like this. It has never been so hot that as soon as you step outside, you start to perspire. Like, I'm used to it being hot in Florida, summertime, like that's just to be expected. But a lot of what's going on is new, and it's new because things are constantly changing. We're slapping up buildings and paving roads, cutting down trees, getting rid of everything. Because in case y'all don't realize, if you keep paving over all the grass and trees that absorb the heat and the trees that provide shade and that, you know, help produce oxygen and that kind of stuff, and you keep putting up buildings, after a while, we don't have a source for air and for it the planet to be able to be cooled. If you are in a politician and you're voting for things that allow people to ignore climate change.
And even just, I think that's a larger scale issue, but in my perspective, I feel like if our society, the social aspect of how our government and how our country works isn't together, there's no, okay, so like, even if climate change, I mean, I think climate change is an issue, but climate change is an issue, but like, if we're killing each other in a civil war, then it, like, that's the least of our concerns. And I feel like with older politicians on both sides, they're not of the age where they went to school with people of different races. If you're Nancy Pelosi or if you're Mitch McConnell, you most likely went to a segregated school.
Chances are.
Grandma went to a segregated school, and she's only 73.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're in your 80s or 90s, you most likely have only been around people of your culture, your race, and your religion. You're not living in the melting pot that the U.S. truly is, so your perspectives are going to be very limited. And it's going to be, like, the only thing that you're going to care about is the power, is the money, is what you're reading on paper.
Your creature comforts, the things that keep them in their isolated cocoon where they're wealthy, where they're well taken care of. Think about it, too, with the whole gun violence in the schools. If you're of childbearing age, then you need to care about gun violence in schools. When I was teaching, and it's so sad, when I was teaching, there was this line on the ground in my classroom. I didn't know what the line was for. And I joked to the kids. I was like, I don't even know what that line was for. Well, all the kids knew. And they were like, oh, you don't know what that is? I'm like, no. They said, that's the line that we have to stand behind if there's a school shooting because the person can't see us if we're behind that line. My jaw dropped. I'm like, you mean to tell me we are pre-planning gun violence in the school? Like we're putting lines on the ground to say, hey, this is where you need to stand.
They don't only just put lines. They don't only put like bulletproof
doors. I know all that.
They actually, like, there were drills in counties nearby where they had people with fake guns, fake students, to see like how many people would survive in a school shooting.
And this is why it matters what politicians think, what they vote for. So
because unless you have real world experience, unless you know, like, I'm going to care 10 times more about certain countries now because my friends are from that country or their family is from that country, or I'm going to care more about certain social causes because it affects them. Not only that, it just affects me. And it just brought, like, the other day in my group chat of the friends that I talk about every single episode, hey, y'all, they literally, Tripura was like telling Sachin, oh, you've taught me so much about Trinidad because that's where he's from. And he's like, you taught me so much about South India because that's where her family's from. And it's like stuff like that is what we need. That's what we need to see.
We used to joke all the time that the cure for racism was all these little biracial babies.
Yeah.
Because, it's happening. And so with, in a broader sense, people care about things that are going to touch their lives. So, like, if you sit back and think, well, that doesn't matter because it's not me, eventually it is going to become you. Like, everything is interwoven. You cannot live, you don't live on an island. You cannot live separate from other people. You have to care about other people's causes and issues because if crime, continues in certain neighborhoods, after a while, it's going to spill over into your neighborhood too. Like you got to care about
and I think
everything
that's why
and everybody.
It's important to have a balance. Like I know I'm very left-leaning the majority of the time, but I think it's important to have a balance because there's some policies that like left-wing people say that I don't agree with. And there's some policies that right-wing people say that I don't agree with, and that's why you need a diverse group of ages. I'm not saying everyone that's of a certain age just get out the Capitol building.
You need the wisdom because information without experience is useless. So younger people a lot of times are being fed information by colleges and high schools or whatever and stuff, but they don't have experience. So sometimes if somebody gives you some information, it may be factual, it may be true, but you need somebody there with some experience to say, hey, yeah, we've tried that didn't work, or we tried that, and this is what happened when we did. So you got to bring information and experience together. That's why you need to diversify. You need people of different races, genders, ages, religions. Everybody needs to come together.
I didn't think about until the other day. Like I'm Christian, so like my mind is mainly only focused on Christian holidays because that's how I grew up. Mm-hmm. And I was talking to my friends that weren't, and they were just like, our holidays aren't national holidays. And I was like,
and you take it for granted. I had the same thing happen. I was interviewing a lady at work, and she said that her kids, because she was a Jewish lady, she said that her kids, even though they had perfect attendance other than their Jewish holidays, were not eligible for perfect attendance because they let them take the holidays off, but they counted them as absences. Yeah. However, all the Christian holidays were automatically excused.
And to me,
absences.
I feel like that's unfair.
I told her, I was like, that sounds like a lawsuit to me. And she just laughed. But, it's one of those things where you take it for granted when everything is focused on the things that are important to you. And only when people start to think about other people and how they're affected and what they're, where they're being slighted or shorted.
That's because even when I was younger, I looked at the world as very black and white, like literally like one set of people thinks this, one set of, even races, I looked at the world as black and white. I didn't think about there being so many different, and I didn't even think about within my own race, everyone's not African American.
And even in your own race, everybody didn't think the same.
Exactly.
I used to think automatically, especially during the one election, it's like, oh yeah, when I would talk to people about the election, I just assumed if I saw a brown person, they're automatically voting for so and so, and they're automatically. And then you hear them start talking. It's like, oh my goodness. Like, and that's what you think?
And there's a certain level of betrayal when you're talking to somebody that's of your same culture, race, religion, whatever, and you don't agree on certain things. And I think that's where it can get more heated.
I don't think it's betrayal.
No, I think it can get more heated between two people that are supposed to think the same thing versus if I'm talking to somebody that doesn't look like me and they have a different perspective, I'm more receptive to like, okay, we have completely different life experiences and that's why you think that way.
Well, here's the thing though. Somebody looking like you does not equate to them thinking like you.
Well, all skin folk and kinfolk, we know.
Exactly.
But I'm just saying, like, it stings a little bit when we're supposed to have the same culture and we're not agreeing.
Speaking of that, it makes me, it shocks the HE double hockey sticks out of me. When you have a politician, I'm not going to call his name. Y'all know who I'm talking about if you're politically savvy in any way, shape, or form.
I'll say the name.
That could vote against affirmative action when...
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
Clearly, they wouldn't be where they are had affirmative action.
They wouldn't be where they are.
So that's an example of all skin folk and kinfolk. These people that all of a sudden get to be honorary something else other than what they are once they get into a position. And this is what's crazy to me. You literally are voting against your own interests.
They're not voting against their own interests because they are in a certain economic status that they don't really have to care. I mean, at the end of the day, if you get stopped by the police, you still might end up getting shot regardless of how much money you have. But they still don't have to care the way that I have to care because not only do I have to look at things through the lens of being a black woman, through the lens of being a Christian, I also have to look at it through the lens of being not rich, of being middle class, of having to be, or as my friend jokingly will call me, working class. Of having to like clock in and clock out.
Well, we're definitely working class because if we don't go to work,
and then lights is off, water is off.
Because the last time I checked, the light bill people don't take good looks. They don't. You know, pretty privilege does not work at the city of Lakeland last time I checked.
I don't know. Sometimes pretty privilege can work in other ways, though.
Well, no, I'm not. No. Again,
Going back to our previous conversation.
No, I'd rather go to work. I'd rather go to work.
That part.
Anyway, but yeah, there's a whole lot of people that are not stand up on things that are going to affect them, and I beg of educate yourself. And if you don't want to like go through the whole process of reading, find some good informative news shows, find some good informative podcasts.
You don't even need news shows these days. You can just go on TikTok and find out the information.
Well,
I
don't want people to use TikTok as a source of all their news.
Not
it's
all,
fine for some
not
news.
all your news, but you can. That is a good stepping, because there's been times where I've seen something on social media and then I do more research through a more credible avenue.
So use that as a
but that's how you can
a catalyst for finding out things. And and don't be ashamed. Ask somebody if you know that you have a friend that's more informed than you, or you know, ask somebody. But don't just sit back and be passive. Don't just sit back like some people are. Well, I don't know what's going on, so I don't want to get involved. No, you are involved whether you're taking action or not. You're involved because whatever happens to one of us happens to all of us.
And I want people to stop hyper focusing on like specific issues and then only voting for politicians that believe in those very specific issues.
Yes,
because like I feel like everyone is guilty of it, where it's like, oh, I really believe in this one thing very strongly, and then you just ignore everything else that's going on. You can't do that. Like, you have to actually be like, okay, this policy is good, this policy not so much, so maybe instead of following this person, I should follow this person that's more in between, and there's kind of a compromise there. Like, you can't just be like, oh, well, I like this one thing, and I'm only going to vote for that person.
I think more people should focus on trying to be Republicrats. Find the middle ground.
And I think
find people, regardless of which political party, that are doing things that are going to help the most people. And that's the other thing. Just because something is going to help you in a very particular situation, if it's going to screw a whole bunch of other people over, find some humanity and realize that what works for you but doesn't work for the majority of the people may not be the best way to go.
Or find a different solution. Like, I remember one time I was having a very, very heated online argument with someone over abortion rights. Like, it was very, not disrespectful, but we were like going back and forth. Like, I was like, no, you're wrong, da da da, and we were going back and forth. And they said something, and they were just like, well, I think more people should adopt. And I think I think more people should be in foster care or whatever. And I was like, but how can you say that when the adoption system and the foster care system is so bad? Like, you're bringing children into this world and they're going to suffer in the system. And I realized during that conversation, a compromise would be make those systems better, make protection for people better, make helpful information and helpful healthcare more accessible, and then it will become a non-issue. But people are so like focused.
But even on that one issue, because I mean, and I didn't want to bring that up, but you brought it up.
I'll bring it up.
So I'm going to speak on it. So my problem with people that are so-called pro-life are not pro-life. They're pro-birth. They want people to give birth.
I won't say everyone. Some people
of them,
have genuine.
And that's who I'm speaking to. They're not pro-life. They're pro-birth. They want people to have to give birth no matter what. Under any circumstances, if you become impregnated, you got to bring that child into the world. But then after the child gets here, okay, so you wanted me to have this baby. I'm not able to take care of this baby without some public assistance. Oh, but I don't have any public assistance for you. I don't want to pay for that. They don't want to fund public schools where these same kids that you insisted needed to be born are going to have to attend. You want to take money out of that system and put it into private schools because you don't want your kids to have to be around certain other kids. Yeah. These same kids that you're insisting on bringing into the world, once they get here, you don't care about them. And then also, you're pro-life, but then you have no problem with the death penalty. So, no, you're not pro-life, you're pro-birth. You want people to be born, but whatever happens to them after they get on this side,
you're pro-life, but you have no problem with kids getting shot in the school because you want a gun so bad. Like,
yeah. Pro-life goes out the window to me because now I want my AK-15 or whatever.
AK-47.
Whatever the numbers are, whatever the letters are. That those kids' lives, those same kids that you insisted had to be born, their lives are no longer important when it infringes upon your Second Amendment gun rights. Be so freaking for real. Sell crazy somewhere else because I'm all stocked up.
It doesn't make sense to me. And also, that's my other problem too, is the politicians that are making these laws and making these rules, you're not even at an age where you can have kids. That, like, you're not even at an age where having a child is going to affect the course of your life. Like, that's why I think younger people should be in office, because maybe we could come to a compromise, we could have reasonable laws, and we wouldn't have to be having these arguments every 2 years or 4 years or whatever, because there would be people that are actually being affected. And then what really irks me is that some of the same people that are just like, I'm voting, I'm going to say the name, I don't care. Some people that are voting for Trump.
Oh, Lord.
Like, some people that are voting for Trump.
I had hope that we would never have to utter
I have a point to be made.
Oh,
some people that are voting for Trump because he's pro-life, he literally tried to pay for multiple women to get abortions.
Okay, allegedly. So, like, allegedly. We're not trying to get sued. Allegedly. What we do know is he has multiple baby mamas.
He has multiple baby mamas.
What we do know is people that are evangelical Christians that claim to support him because he's a Christian. Child.
I can understand supporting someone that has Christian values as a Christian. I get that. Like, I'm not so liberal-minded that I don't understand that. But they need to have real Christian
values and actually know that 2 Corinthians is not 2 Corinthians, and also know which direction to hold the Bible in. Don't hold it upside down Satan would do.
It's just so obvious to me that, like, some people are just so stuck in politics that they're not actually looking at the moral. Like, you can't just look at the political views. You have to look at the morals and values of the person that you're voting for.
Okay, let's just call it like it really is. Some of those people that are supporting these evangelical Christian politicians or whatever, first of all, let me just get real deep. First of all, a lot of them don't believe in God at all.
This is true.
It's just a trope. They do not believe in God at all. It is a tool that they have weaponized to try to pretend like they stand for something. And so they don't believe in any God, first of all. Second of all, the few that do kind of possibly believe in God, they believe in God as long as they can weaponize God against other people and speak against other people's actions, beliefs, and thought processes. So because if they truly believed in God, a lot of the stuff that they're endorsing, that they're standing behind, they could not see people's children. Because, during the election, when I really got to the point, because at first I was trying to ride with people and say, okay, well, maybe their thought processes are different, or maybe they're not informed or whatever. Where I lost it, because y'all know, if you've listened, if you know me, being a mother is right at the top.
I'm a mother.
I'm a mother. Christianity, motherhood, kind of in that order. So when I saw them take people's children at the border, separate them with no plan, no means of reuniting those children with their parents, and then you still stood behind those people, because if it really, I sat when that started happening, and I thought, if I had been told, I'm at the border, I'm trying to flee a situation that's dangerous, and I'm told, okay, we're going to take your child, to somewhere safe. We're separating you for whatever reason, whatever, but I'm of the mind that I'm going to see my child again. And then later on, I'm told that not only am I not going to see my child, you don't know where my child is. This happened, people. Look it up. Google it. I don't care what you got to do. They took people's children with no plan to be able to reunite mothers and babies ever again. I sat there in that moment and thought my mind would have shattered. Like, I literally would be in a rubber room wearing a straitjacket, because I would not have been able to recover from that. When I saw people smugly act like that was no big deal, the same pro-life people, be like that was no big deal. That was the deal.
Some people are only pro-life when it's babies that look like them. They're not pro-life when someone is trying to flee. They're pro-life when I don't want to, because I'm not going to compare tragedies. But if there was a European refugee, then I think the situation would have been different, in my personal opinion. But that's going down a whole
the level of hypocrisy to try to pretend like you're an evangelical Christian, but you're okay.
Because if you're pro-life and you're like, I want the best for people and I want to help refugees and I want to help, then I understand that completely. But if you're choosing to ignore a blatant fact of mistreatment of other people, and it boggles my mind that people can be so America when, like, now, when this country wasn't built on respecting the rights and privileges.
We're not gonna attack America.
I'm not attacking America, but what I am saying is America was built on refugees and on people coming here for a better life. But now you don't want to allow other people to come here for a better life. And I understand that we need to have legislation and we need to have laws. But there are, and I've had to write many an article about this lately, there are so many business owners, specifically in Tampa, that want illegal immigration, want it, even though they probably, some of them could be right, left leaning, whatever. They want illegal immigration because it's helping them in their business, because a lot of the jobs that are so-called being stolen by these immigrants, nobody here wants them or like wants to take them. And now there's job shortages, and the service industry is struggling. The agricultural industry is struggling. And all of the laws that are being put in place are just it's going to wreck the economy.
I mean, when you see a immigrant, especially immigrants from certain countries, those are some of the hardest working people a lot of times. Like, they're not coming over here just sitting down. And now, are there some criminals among them? Of course. Because there's always going to be bad people in any group. But when you see those people usually have multiple jobs. They usually have the jobs that nobody over here will do because they think that it's beneath them to do them. Those people come over here and all they want is an opportunity.
And I'm not saying like, oh, just like let everybody in illegally. Like, obviously that can't work. We need a balance. But I resent the fact that some people will refer to these immigrants, these refugees, as illegals. Like, you're dehumanizing people at this point. I don't like that.
Anyway, there's lots of work to be done, but everybody educate yourself, find out what's going on, vote your interest, and then also learn to be, lean into your humanity and care about other people.
I agree. But on to a lighter subject.
Because we got real heavy
I get really passionate about politics sometimes. I almost minored in political science, but anyway. But on to a lighter topic that's more like what we talk about a lot. I was on Instagram and I saw this like video, and this like it was a whole thing. And it was basically about this dude talking about how his significant other, like whenever he gets a girlfriend, his significant other should, if she wants him to do like manly things for her, then she should clean his house and cook his food and do his laundry and like basically be a little housewife, but she's a girlfriend. So for the Ask a Gemini segment, I'm asking you, as a girlfriend, are you expected to clean your man's crib?
Okay. So, well, first of all, let's keep it simple like my father likes to say. Even swap ain't no swindle, okay? Even swap ain't no swindle. If you my dude, and when I need something manly done, you showing up and taking care of it, I got you, boo. You need me to cook? I got you. You need me to clean? I got you. Even swap ain't no swindle. If he is stepping up and doing the things that I need him to do, making sure I'm taken care of, I don't have a problem with that. Now, if he just thinks that I'm going to be wifey with no, reciprocal things happening, then he got a problem.
It just feels so transactional.
I mean, and it shouldn't be transactional. The way I think about it is we're doing these things because we care about each other. And love is an action word, whether people want to realize it or not. Don't look at what dude says, look at what dude does. Because I've had a lot of dudes say a whole bunch of stuff to me, but no action ever been put behind it. It's not what he says, it's what he does. So, like, if he is making sure that my life is better, making sure my life is easier, if he's making sure that my car is kept clean, if he's making sure the trash is taken out, if my yard is always pristine because he's around, if when I need, help with anything that I can't do because I can't do it, as long as we're, because see, a lot of people, I'm going to get biblical for a minute. In the Bible, people always say, they quote that scripture and say that God created a helpmate for Adam. Bible does not say helpmate. Check it. The Bible says God created a helpmeet, as in to meet his needs. So if that man is not, if he's not, he doesn't have book sense and you do, step in and be his book sense. If that man is someone that is not the best talker, he's kind of introverted and he needs someone to be his voice, be his voice. You're there as a female to meet his need, whatever that is. But baby, he better be meeting mine too.
It's giving catered to you by Destiny's Child.
Whatever the case may be, I feel like if we're taking care of each other,
but I feel like this is one of the few times I'll say that this doesn't need to be a conversation. I just need to see you helping me, and then in my spirit will be led.
Exactly.
To come to, if you're at my house or my apartment, wherever I am, if you're at my place and you see the garbage is getting high, or you see like my sink is broken, my sink actually is broken. So if anybody wants to fix that, that's cool. If you see my sink is broken, then and you just take care of it, you're just like, I got it, babe. Then when I come to your house and I see, you got some laundry to be done, where is the laundry detergent?
Exactly.
It's going to come naturally. But I don't want it to be one of those things where you're just like, okay, so let me break it down for you. I'm going to wash your car. And after I wash your car, then you're going to go fold my clothes. And then
it shouldn't be that way. It should be if you care about somebody and you see they need help with something, or you see where you can make their life better or more comfortable, you automatically do it. Love is an action word. It's just that simple. It is people.
And also, I feel like, I'm of the generation of kind of dissembling gender roles, which, sometimes I love a good gender role. I'm kind of a traditionalist for my own life. But it doesn't always have to be the same things. Like, what if he is the person that's a neat freak that's like that wants to clean your heart out? Like, I don't care if I want to be the person that washes the cars. I'll wash the cars.
Yeah, like again, be somebody's help me. It does not necessarily mean you got specific roles. It means whatever you guys need to do to balance each other out. Because that whole thing back in the day where people used to say, well, each person has to give 50-50. No. Each person has to give 100%. Because if we're each giving 100% of ourselves, then we're going to be tight.
I just think too many people are thinking of it as like, as soon as they start talking to somebody, now all of a sudden there's this expectation of exactly what is supposed to go down. And it's just like, what if I don't even like you that much?
Well, and then
we're having these conversations.
Because some guys will try to buy you.
And that
they will actually try to buy you, especially in the initial stages during that honeymoon phase, during that quote unquote love bombing stage where they try to do all these wonderful things just to win you and knowing that they're not going to keep them up. Here's another thing. Don't start something you can't finish. Don't come out the gate wanting to be all things wonderful and great to me just to get me, and then once you get me, then you want to slow down and backpedal, act like I got two heads when I expect for you to do the stuff that you've always done.
As Adele would say, consistency is key to keep a woman like me.
Amen.
Do not I'm not expecting, because the thing is in the situations that I've been in, I have not gone looking for them. They came looking for me. Mm-hmm. So then after you set this precedent of, okay, you're going to call me at this time, or you're going to text me at this time, or we're going to go do this thing together all the time. And then you start not doing it. And I'm a very blunt, direct person. I'm going to be like, what happened? What's going on? Like, is there something like, and then you're looking at me crazy like, what? We ain't nothing. That pisses me off.
I think, and that along with, okay, I raised you, so she get it from her mama. I'm sorry,
as
y'all.
Victoria Monet would say.
She get it from her mama. But also, I'm very direct too. Like I will say who I am, what I'm about, whatever and stuff. Please don't say, I'm good with that, babe. I'm good with that, babe. Yeah, that's fine, babe. And then all of a sudden, when you stop wanting to step up, now you got a problem with it. I did not fool you. I did not bamboozle you. I did not try to pretend like I'm not a passive chick. I'm not. Like, I'm not that easygoing, whatever you say, dear.
I'll be easygoing in whatever you say, dear, if you can lead me to be easygoing in whatever you say, dear.
I am looking so forward to the day where I can just step back and let you
I want my mind to just be off in the presence of my future husband. Yeah, just, I don't want to have to think.
I would love to be able to say, he got it, and just sit there and enjoy. But I'm never going to do that unless I am made to feel safe enough to do that. And then in the meantime, if I got to be taking care of me, I'm going to take care of me.
That's what, maybe because like now I'm in like working woman mindset, is when a dude is just like, oh, like, are you going to come over and cook for me? It immediately pisses me off because it's like, baby, I don't want to cook for myself. So why am I going to get off of my job?
Well, see, here's the thing.
Come over and cook for you when I won't cook for me.
It depends. If I like you.
Oh, no, but if I like you, I'm a total simp. And
I enjoy cooking for you. If I like you, like if you're making me feel loved, I love cooking for you. I love doing whatever.
But see, guys have asked me to cook for them, and this is like day 3 of us talking to each other.
If I don't know you like that. No,
what? There's nothing in my soul that's going to be like, yeah, I want to cook for you, babe. I don't even know if like I like you or not.
Yeah, like, no, you gotta set some precedents for me to feel like I want to spoil you, because I like spoiling people. But it has to go both ways.
I realize now that I have like the money to do it, I really enjoy giving people gifts that I know that they will like.
Exactly.
Like when
they don't have to be expensive, just something.
No, literally, like when it's my friend's birthday, I'm like, okay, so I'm thinking about all the conversations we've ever had, And like if it's leading up to somebody's birthday and I like really care about them, this is not even just romantic. This is like literally just like, this could be platonic, romantic, whatever. But if I really care about them, like the couple weeks leading up, I'm like taking notes. Like, okay, they said they like this, they said they like that. They're gonna be free on these days. They're gonna be free on that day or whatever. And then I get my little gift, make it all cute, whatever, and be like, happy birthday.
Yeah.
I like doing that. So of course I would do that for my man, but it can't be like, I feel like dudes in this generation, and it goes both ways, because I feel like some girls like take advantage of a man's attraction to them, and they think like pretty privilege wins everything. So guys are in this cycle of, most girls want me to just like pay for everything. So if I'm paying for everything, what are you doing for me? Immediately. And it's just like, I'm not asking you for nothing.
And unfortunately, it has put some guys in the mindset that they can buy affection, that if they just do monetary things for you, then that's enough.
Because I'm just
that
like,
is never going to be
where
enough.
does the quality time come in? Where does the romance come in? Like the courtship, if you're just throwing money at me and saying like, oh, like, here, go get your nails done. Where are you? Like, I don't want to get my nails done by myself. Like, where are you?
Yeah.
So it's just, it's a whole thing.
It's a whole thing, but anyway.
But in conclusion, if I like you, then yes, I will clean your crib. If I don't like you, then please get out of my face, because I'm not the one. But now it's time for our Gemini gem.
Okay. So this Gemini gem is hopefully going to be practical and helpful. We had the COVID-19 virus, which we have dug our way out of, but we are also coming up into cold and flu season again. And I would like to suggest that everybody make sure that you have some honey in the house. Honey is one of the few foods, it may be one of the only foods that does not expire. If it's properly contained, then it will last forever. It is also it has very medicinal properties. It has antimicrobial, antibacterial properties.
Big words.
Yes. Look it up if you don't know what those mean. But anyway, if you have a cold or flu, honey is good for the throat. You can mix honey with lemon, honey with apple cider vinegar. But anyway, it is a good thing to have in the house, and you can also use it on your skin. You can put it on cuts. If you are not sure of all the uses, look them up. But have some honey in the house, because it is a natural remedy that is very helpful during cold and flu season. So get you some honey, honey.
Okay, so oh my God. So my Gemini gem is, I struggle with under eye bags because I have allergies, and I also don't be sleeping a lot sometimes because I'm just daily tiredness. But if you want to help at least reduce your under eye like bags or like puffiness, is I always, like, first thing when I'm getting dressed, before I put on makeup, anything, I get an ice cube and I rub it under my eye. And, like, I don't even time myself. I just, like, rub it till I feel like it's been done on an equal amount of both eyes. And then the ordinary caffeine serum, like the eye serum, and I think it's only like $5 from Ulta. It's not expensive, and it lasts a very long time. Just rub some of that on there. And then when you're putting on your concealer, like pressure also helps reduce your under eye bag. So if you do all of those steps in that order, ice, serum, and then you're like putting your concealer on, pat, then it helps reduce your under eye puffiness, and then you can go out looking refreshed, even though you probably only got 3 hours of sleep.
Okay, and piggybacking off of that, whenever you do stuff under eye, around your eyes, always go up.
Oh, yeah, go up. When you're putting
Never
on your
go
concealer,
down, because that'll make wrinkles and stuff worse. So always go up.
And if you wanted to, you could do the whole, like, not the cucumber thing. I feel like the cucumber thing is stupid, personally. But
It might work for some people.
I don't know. But, like, you can also do, like, the patches after you do the ice. But that's, like, if you actually have enough time in your day. Because I'm the queen of getting ready in 20 minutes. But with that being said, now that we talked about technology and politics and relationships and our beauty regimens and our health regimens, thank you for joining us on this episode of Something Necessary Conversation. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Period.